Hey, what's up guys? This is Justin, and after being set back for a few weeks with some conventions I was attending, I'm finally back with another review, this week for BlacKkKlansman. So for those not familiar, BlacKkKlansman follows the first African-American detective to join the Colorado Springs police force, and after a little while, he gets moved around, he suffers some mistreatment from other co-workers. He finally arrives at a job he thinks he can do some good in, which is infiltrating the KKK. So I gotta be honest, I never really saw any of Spike Lee's work before. I've heard his name thrown around a lot in Hollywood, but I didn't really know what I was getting into when I saw this movie. But let me tell you, this was one of the best made films I've seen so far this year. I'm gonna start out by talking about the best part of this movie, and that's the cast. John David Washington plays Ron Stallworth, and he does a great job in this. He's really funny. He's really charismatic, and you just kind of feel for his character. I really hope to see him in future projects of Spike Lee's, or even maybe like Quentin Tarantino, because I feel like he'd do great in that style. And we have Adam Driver as Flip Zimmerman, or Philip. It's interesting to see him in a role where he's helping Ron Stallworth kind of infiltrate the KKK. So in order to do that, he has to go undercover and be racist and be hateful and all the things he doesn't want to be. I'm really happy to see Adam Driver out of Star Wars. Not that I don't like him in that film, but I prefer him in more indie films. Logan Lucky was another great one of his. But now we have to talk about Topher Grace. I haven't seen him in anything in a while. He had That 70s Show, and he was in Spider-Man 3. I know he did some other indie films here or there. If I'm not mistaken, he was in like a war-type movie on Netflix with Brad Pitt. But he plays the Grand Wizard of the KKK in this film, and he does an amazing job. And whenever Topher Grace gets on screen with John David Washington or Adam Driver, it's entertaining as hell. Guys, the plot of this film was great. Now, I actually didn't read the actual memoir that this is based off of, but I can only hope it was as close to it as possibly could be. So I give Spike Lee all the credit in the world, because I've seen films in the past kind of sugarcoat hate and racism and all this other stuff from the 60s, hell, all the way up to present day. But he does a great job. He keeps it real. I really like how the director separated the two tones in the film. When it wanted to be funny, it was funny, but when it needed to get serious and real with the audience, he had no problem doing that. The only really issue I had with this film is, this is a mild spoiler, but in the end they kind of bring it back to reality and have clips of the KKK and Donald Trump and a lot of marches and protests and stuff like that. And I understand what the director was going for, but they didn't really include all of the real-life counterparts to the characters in the film, so I don't really know what he was going for. It was kind of a weird way to wrap things up. But either way, it didn't hinder the film too much, and I still enjoyed everything. To sum everything up, this is a great biographical film. Spike Lee does a great job balancing multiple tones and directing the cast in this. John David Washington, Topher Grace, Adam Driver all do great interacting with one another. It's really entertaining whenever they're on screen. And guys, this is a great way to wrap up the summer. 9 out of 10.